Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, depending on when you're watching this. Michelle Riley here with Notaries for Alabama, here in North Alabama. I want to provide Alabama Notaries with an update on the Alabama Marriage Certificate. This is a form that seems to be evolving every few months. And it's very important, if this is a document that you are notarizing, it's important for you to be up to date on the different changes. And so that's the focus of our conversation this evening. And I will either attach samples of these forms below this recording, or at least share a link or directions on how you can access these forms. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see what I'm reading from. So on the screen is a sample Alabama marriage certificate form. I think pretty much now all notaries in Alabama are aware that in order to be married in Alabama, the couple must find a notary, meet with the notary, and have the notary notarize the couple's signature. And then the form goes to the county probate office, the judge of probate office, for them to process, record, and return back to the couple. So that's how we get married in Alabama. The ceremony is no longer required, and it's been that way since 2019. And so what has changed? Again, all I'm going to do is focus on what has changed since we last got together, and the change on this form. And I'm sorry that I'm not showing a circle or highlighting it for you, but it is at the bottom of the form. There is now box 36 and box 37, and it is requesting the spouse's current mailing address and daytime phone number. And so, and in this example, the state of Alabama is showing us that that information can be different, and that's okay. And so spouse number one needs to provide their mailing address and contact information, and same with spouse number two. This, I believe, will help the probate clerk and the Department of Public Health do their background check and be able to call and ask questions if need be. And so please make sure, I'm speaking now to you notaries directly, make sure that the couple is filling out that section. Okay. Other than that, I didn't see anything else that is different with the form. So that is one update that I wanted to share with you. The second update pertains to the frequently asked question form. This is located on the same website with the certificate itself. Both can be found at alabamapublichealth.gov. And that first form we looked at can be completed online and then printed. And this frequently asked questionnaire or question form is also with the certificate. All right, so this form has been revised, and I want to just focus on what changed. The first change is on page 1. These are not numbered. But 1, 2, 3, 4, question number 4. What does the latter of the dates of the spouse's signatures mean? And just to help you with that question, keep in mind that there will be times when the notary will meet with spouse 1 and 2 at the same time. And when that happens, both spouses will sign and date the same date with the same date, because you, the notary, are meeting with them at the same time. But it's also possible for you to meet with spouse 1 today and spouse 2 tomorrow or next week. It's not a problem. But what is important is that each spouse uses the correct date that they met with the notary. And in those situations, if the spouses sign on 2 different dates, this means that the latest date of the 2 signatures, that will be the date of their marriage. Okay? So that is now, the process didn't change, but the way that the form explained it previously was a little confusing. So that is a clarifying question and answer. Moving on to page 2, at the top, legality of marriage in Alabama. How long do I have to wait after my divorce to remarry in Alabama? I do not remember this question being on this FAQ sheet previously. The answer is certain circumstances can affect the waiting period for remarriage after divorce. Please consult your divorce decree for guidance or contact your legal representative or the court which issued the divorce decree for assistance. So I'm calling this out just to remind notaries that when asked a question like this, we should never give an answer, especially if that answer is based on our own personal experience. We shouldn't guess. So I really appreciate the answer given here. And we should always refer the spouses to elsewhere to get answers, because we never want to provide incorrect information, especially about this type of notarization that can be a costly mistake. Going down just a little bit under who can marry in Alabama. This is another clarifying question. I live in another country. Can I marry in Alabama? What should I put on the marriage certificate form for county and state of residence and social security number? So again, this is nothing new. Since the law changed in 2019, couples from other countries could get married here in Alabama and use this form to do so. But this helps clarify how they should fill out the form. And the answer is a resident of a foreign country who meets the eligibility criteria stated on the marriage certificate form and who properly completes the marriage certificate can marry in Alabama. Persons who reside in a foreign country should enter the name of the state, province, or territory of the foreign country in the residence county field on the form, and enter the name of the foreign country in the residence state field. If an individual has never been assigned a Social Security number by the Social Security Administration, the field for the Social Security number should be left blank. They shouldn't put zeros there, just leave it blank. And so going back up, the state, province, or territory of the foreign country goes in the residence county field, And so that is going to be box number 6 is the residence county. And number 7 is the residence state field, okay, for each spouse. All right, that is that one. Moving on to notary information. Just a few things here. The question is, where can I find a notary? Will there be a charge for notary services? They did some clarification here. They're still telling the general public where they can look for notaries. Banks, libraries, UPS stores, AAA, yeah, the auto club, and some pharmacies. Now that's new to me. So if you know of any Alabama pharmacies that offer notary services, let me know. I'd appreciate that. All right. But what I like about this section is it also clarifies the charge. Under Alabama law, a notary is able to charge $5 for each signature that is notarized and for each official act performed. Notaries who drive to meet with you can charge an additional fee or fees to compensate them for the expense of travel. Alabama does not set limits on what a notary can charge for travel. Now, this really got me. Well, let me pause here before I move on. So again, $5 for each signature and $5 for each notarial official act performed. And you know what official act we're performing? We are performing an affirmation, which is similar to an oath for both spouses. And so 2 signatures, if you are notarizing both spouses, that's going to be 5 times 2 is 10. And then you're placing 2 spouses under oath. Another 5 times 2 is 10 for a total of $20 for the notary fee. That is how I calculate it, and I do believe it is correct. And then notaries who drive to meet with you can charge an additional fee. I already read that. So I don't have anything to add there. That continues to be true. We set our own fees. I just want to encourage you to charge reasonable fees. You determine what you feel is reasonable. All right, but this is what caught my eye. A list of commissioned notaries is available at the Alabama Secretary of State's website, and then they provide the URL. Who can tell me what's wrong with that? If you click on that link, and I'm not going to because I'll end up pulling up somebody's personal information. There are no phone numbers or email addresses. And so if you were to search for a notary on the website, I think you can search by county. Yes, you can. But if I were to put in Madison County, I will get a lot of notaries, and all it will state is their first and last name and either their home address or their business address. And that really is not going to help anyone unless the spouses choose to show up at our front doors. So I am going to reach out to the Alabama Department of Public Health and ask if they wouldn't mind not listing that. All right. Moving on, page 3 at the top. Can a non-Alabama notary notarize an Alabama marriage certificate form? I think most of us know the answer to that. No, per the Alabama Office of the Attorney General's opinion, issued May 18, 2022, a marriage certificate form notarized by a notary public, not authorized to notarize under the laws of the state of Alabama, shall not be accepted for recording by an Alabama probate court. The marriage certificate form notarized by a notarizing officer of the U.S. Department of State is also not acceptable. So yes, we can notarize signatures for people in foreign countries, but we are the only notaries in the United States who are authorized to notarize this form. Right below that, you'll see, can I or my notary electronically sign the Alabama marriage certificate? The answer to that, an electronic signature of a spouse, notary, or consenting parent of a minor spouse is not acceptable on a marriage certificate. A marriage certificate form with an electronic signature for any of these parties will not be recorded or filed. And let me say this, it must be a wet signature. Even if it's a facsimile, it will not be recorded. Wet signature only, really important. All right, we're almost done. I'm scrolling down to the bottom of page 3, that last question there. Can I mail the certificate to the probate court? They're stating yes, you can mail it. Again, make sure you mail it in a way that it is received by the probate court within the 30 days required under law in order for the marriage to be valid. Certificates that are emailed will not be accepted by the probate courts. You know what? The more I read through this, I bet the probate courts are just catching it. They're seeing and hearing everything, I'm imagining. And so what I'd like to add is, because I do a lot of these forms or these notarizations, is that I stick with using and encouraging the couples to use UPS or FedEx for this form. Why? The times when they insist on using the U.S. Postal Service, we are surprised, shocked, amazed by how long it takes it to get to me, whether they're sending it express mail, priority mail, or first class mail. So if they're not in a hurry and they want to use first class mail, fine, or priority mail. But it's been years since a FedEx, since USPS express mail arrived overnight, and it's been years since the priority mail envelope arrived within the 3 to 5 day time frame. That's been my experience. If yours is different, great. All right, just one more, and I think we're going to be done. Page 4, near the bottom. If I or my spouse made a mistake in the information we provided on the marriage certificate, can we make corrections to the marriage certificate after, keyword after, it has been filed with the probate court? The answer to that question is yes. You can make corrections to your filed marriage certificate. To do so, you must complete a form called Amendment to Alabama Marriage Certificate and Decree of Correction. That's a mouthful. You may obtain that form from an Alabama county probate court. The form must be completed, signed, and notarized by both spouses and presented to an Alabama probate court for filing. You will need to pay another recording fee to the court at that time. After recording, the court will forward the amendment to the Alabama Department of Public Health Center for Health Statistics. The amendment will be permanently attached to and issued with the original marriage certificate when certified copies are requested, and then see the FAQ on that. So if mistakes are made before the Alabama marriage certificate is filed, it needs to be corrected. The couple needs to start over, fix the errors, and then have the notary notarize the signatures and send it in. Again, they will not record a certificate where we have drawn a line through a mistake and initialed and dated not allowed. Okay, and so I would encourage you to do some more research on this one. Contact your probate judge's office, or go on their website, see if it's available on the website. And yeah, I would download the form, make it available, let the couple know, hey, if you notice an error, let me know. Here's the form, and let me notarize you again. All right, there's the phone number for the Department of Public Health Center for Health Statistics. If you have additional questions or need clarification, but again, this is a very important form. It's a form that costs quite a bit of money to have completed. And so it's really important that we notaries provide excellent, accurate notarizations and information every time. I am doing these primarily remotely. I will occasionally do them in person. If you are a notary who also provides the service remotely, let me know. That way, I know there's just a few of us who are performing remote notarizations in Alabama. I'll be happy to refer calls to you when I'm unable to assist, and feel free to do the same for me. I hope you found this information helpful, whether you are a notary or whether you are an engaged couple considering to get married. And again, Michelle Riley, notary instructor. And if you are a notary, I want to invite you to join over 1,300 notaries online in our Facebook group called Notaries for Alabama Hangout. It's free to join, and it's where we learn, share information with one another. If you are a notary looking for training, please visit my website, trainalabama.com. The real goal of Notaries for Alabama is to help Alabama residents become successful Alabama notaries. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a great rest of your day.